No, I think we're gonna really go for it.
Yeah.
Right?
Okay.
Yeah,
Who isn't knock on someone
I'm gonna
else's?
fight you.
Hello, welcome to the Suns Award Season panel. We have Shay, Lorenzo, Ruby, Nick, and me, Lev. And we're gonna talk about some of the films that we thought really stood out from the year 2017, right before the Oscars. So, you guys want to start with Best Actor?
Yeah, certainly. For me this year, it was definitely Armie Hammer and Call Me By Your Name. I know that he got slotted down to Best Supporting, probably to avoid some vote splitting from the production company on Call Me By Your Name. But for me, in that movie, completely stole the show. I thought right from the bat, you could completely pick up on how his character was using a lot of confidence to disguise like a lot of the underlying insecurity. I thought he did the character perfectly.
I also choose Day-Lewis because he is so complex in Phantom Thread. He's so elegant and obsessive, and he's a genius. So it's so hard for a normal person like us to relate to him. But his performance just makes it so easy that you can understand this character.
I think what he brought to this role in particular that distinguishes him from other roles, like say There Will Be Blood and such, which he's most revered for, is that he brings, I think, a lot of emotional nuance to it.
I got Andy Serkis for his role as Caesar in War for the Planet of the Apes. For people who haven't seen that movie, he does the CGI motion capture and voice for this ape. And this guy became a monkey. I mean, is it not more impressive? When I'm thinking back on 2017 and I'm like, what couple moments really emotionally got me? A couple of them are a dude speaking through a computerized ape face. I mean, that's pretty command of your facial expressions if you can get all that through the filter of a computer.
Even though I think Daniel Day-Lewis, because it is his final performance, and he was incredible in Phantom Thread. I do agree that Armie was probably the better element, like within Call Me By Your Name. Like I know that Timothée Chalamet guy is getting a lot of like affection for his role, and admittedly for a 21-year-old, he's very, very good. I mean, Armie's great. I'm still gonna go with what's his face, Daniel Day-Lewis, because he was pretty good. So, I mean, he himself like had issues as a character with like emotional connectivity and issues with like, but also had a bit of that Daniel Playview intensity as well, like that sort of nuance. Like what a really like incredible role for this man to end his career with. So.
Didn't he spend like a year learning how to actually make dresses in real life?
Yes, I know.
That's crazy.
He's like the best method actor out there.
That's what crazy people do.
Right.
Cornell Daily Sun's winner for Best Actor is Daniel Day-Lewis.
Yay!
All right, next up is Best Actress. All in favor of Frances McDormand, say aye.
I can see 3 billboards. So.
Oh boy.
Alright, get him off the panel.
I thought Sally Hawkins was pretty great in Shape of Water. A movie that I think had some issues that might keep her from winning, Best Actress at the Oscars and such. But the silent thing felt like it was made to win awards rather than convey more emotion.
Felt like a gimmick.
Yeah, all kinds of weird stuff in the last half of the movie just kind of... No, I was fine with Fishman sex, but like the weird singing scene I didn't like at all.
But that's beautiful. I really like Shape of Water because Sally Hawkins pulls up this silent character so well. Like you can see all her emotions in her eyes and her action. And it's not a gimmick because she has to be marginalized to understand this fishman.
People are saying that this is like a return to like Chaplin and Keaton, that like her performance is in that echelon. Do you think that's, does that seem fair? Because if that's fair, it seems like she should be a sure winner, but next thing, no take on that.
And I think there's a reason we all chose Frances McDormand, right?
Yeah.
Two completely different performances. Frances McDormand is, she has really good quiet moments, but for the most part, it's sort of, turned up to 11 the whole time. It's really extreme, whereas Hawkins is silent.
I think The Shape of Water, at least for me, and I think a lot of other people felt this way, it's like very beautiful to look at, and it's sort of a spectacle, but I feel like the emotional connection was much more there in 3 Billboards, especially with Frances McDormand's character. And she had a number of moments that really were like, I watched it and I was like, wow, that's an Oscar moment. It's somewhat easy to make like a Fargo comparison because it's like that was her previous like big Oscar role, and there are similarities I guess between 3 Billboards and like a Coen Brothers film, but it's a totally different part, and I think that's something that you wouldn't necessarily realize unless you've seen both. But I think that the way that she's really possibly not going to win Best Actress for a totally different role.
I also think that Margot Robbie is worth mentioning because she's so different in I, Tonya. She plays this so controversial character. I think that's very interesting, and you can see her different performances in these 2 parts of her life. and she has the complexity of the character. You still relate to her, although she's done terrible things.
We were talking about this before, and I do sort of agree with Shade that it's a little bit falls in the darkest hour category, where like the poster might as well just be like acting. Like go to the movie theater to see acting.
Yeah.
And the Cornell Daily Sun's winner for Best Actress is, drumroll please, Frances McDormand.
Yay! This is so awkward.
Next up we have Best Director, which is I think a pretty heated category this year.
I put Sean Baker.
I feel really strongly, don't you?
We can really tell how passionate you are about this choice.
I put Sean Baker because I think the Florida project is very artistic. It's beautiful. It's colorful, and the impressive part about it is that he has an actress that he pulls off from Instagram. She's completely new to acting, and he just teaches her how to act basically. And then he has a bunch of child actors, which is incredibly hard. And the film comes out so authentic, and you feel for those characters, although they are mostly first-time actors.
I gotta be honest, Ruby right now is actually swaying me with her argument for Sean Baker. I think something that puts Baker over like Nolan for me, and something that people have actually really praised Jordan Peele for with Get Out, is the amount of things that you will not catch on the first time through. The amount of scenes that you really need to sit and ponder, and there's a lot of things going on there.
The theme or like idea that's like compelling Sean Baker in the Florida Project is like if he's capturing, let's say, like poverty or something like that, or aimlessness, or just Nolan is get them off the beach is a bit more like a particular goal versus like the aimlessness of this. So
I think Christopher Nolan is the choice here. I think that Dunkirk is the biggest sort of undertaking out of all the people that we're going to be mentioning today. Just to take a film that's historical and has that big of a spectacle, that big of a budget, and without really that substantive a script, I would say, and to just ramp up the tension for 2 hours. I think that it's just a massive undertaking, and he really pulled it off amazingly. Yeah. The fact that it's showing the chaos of war, and the fact that different people in different settings are just trying to do their job, and they don't know how they're going to fit into the larger picture. I think thematically it worked really well. Just the level of scale of the project is immense.
I've got Taika Waititi from Thor Ragnarok. I was torn on this pick between Taika Waititi and Edgar Wright for Baby Driver, and I think chill, man. What it came down to for me is Taika Waititi did what Edgar Wright couldn't do 2 years ago when they were making Ant-Man, which was go into the MCU, make an awesome movie with his own style, but not butt heads so much with the Marvel producers and directors and higher-ups that he got kicked off the film. You know, I think Thor Ragnarok was a beautiful departure into fun and splashes of color that we hadn't seen in a superhero movie in a while, and I think that's almost entirely in part of Taika Waititi.
So part of your reasoning for why he should win was that he didn't get fired?
Yeah,
that puts him in the running for best director, is that he kept his job throughout the production.
I would have been fired.
The Cornell Daily Sun's winner for Best Director is Christopher Nolan.
Hey,
I'll applaud politely, but I won't be happy.
All right, it's the category you've all been waiting for, Best Picture.
Talking about Baby Driver for Best Picture, you know, I admit a lot of more serious films are over my head. I'm more in the vein of the superhero movies and the action movies. You know, I go see Fast and Furious every year, and I don't like them, but I go see them. You get what I'm saying? And I think when we're talking about Best Picture, a lot of people think these are serious movies. They've got deep characterizations and plots that really make you think, and that's not what Baby Driver is. I think when Edgar Wright and his team made this film, they set out to make an hour-and-a-half long epic music video with a feel-good romantic love story that's bursting with color and awesome car stunts and a soundtrack that I think is probably my favorite of the year, and I think it was executed perfectly.
I guess for me, just sort of as a final defense of Call Me By Your Name, I actually went into it worried that there's just going to be some sort of like really bougie, fancy Italian like villa movie of a bunch of, you know, I think I saw a tweet that was like, you know, call me by your name and I'll call me by yours. Well, you know, I'm a rich American student studying abroad in an Italian villa. That's sort of the perfect critique of it, but I didn't leave feeling that way. I felt really beautiful. I felt emotionally super whole. I felt for a ton of characters in that film. I thought Michael Stolberg even put out an amazing performance. I thought it was terrific.
I think it's perfect in every sense. I watched it 6 times. Just
Seriously?
so you know. Yeah, just so
Wow.
you know.
You got through that peach scene 6 times.
And I
It's the
still
delight
like
of the
it.
movie.
The peach scene is my favorite scene ever.
Sometimes you gotta have sex with a beach, you know?
It's the sweet delight of the film.
It's beautiful.
For me, Get Out, the best thing it has going for it is that this is the movie I think people are going to remember from 2017 when they're thinking back.
Yeah.
And I think if Get Out does not win Best Picture, there's really a potential for a Crash Brokeback Mountain situation if like 3 Billboards or Shape of Water wins.
Yeah.
Where I think there was this really swell of people really connecting with Get Out, a lot of different audiences, for all the different things that it offers. It offers a horror movie, it offers a comedy, it offers social commentary, it's entertaining as hell. It just has such a wide appeal, and it's really a statement about what's happening in our country this year.
And social commentary that didn't feel crammed down the audience's throat. I think a lot of movies try to do that and it feels forced. I thought this was social commentary that felt entirely natural.
All right, the Sun's winner for Best Picture is Get Out.
Yay. Thanks for watching.
More energy,
That's perfect. No, it's perfect.
Thank you for watching.